How you at the gym and you let this 20-year-old, damn near teeny bop, little old young white bitch get you 50 mil? You offered a pink toe Peckerwood 10 million.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z.
Well, yeah, Ocho brought your name up a couple times.
Shannon really don't like me.
You know what?
I done call all the football players, man, big old dumb stupid ass. You know, so.
Charleston White opened this one with no hesitation and no filter. His words hit the internet like a bomb, instantly setting off a wildfire across social media. Shannon Sharpe, once respected as the disciplined and composed face of sports commentary, suddenly found himself at the center of a storm. The clip spread fast, across blogs, reaction channels, and meme pages, painting a picture of a man whose image was crumbling in real time. Charleston didn't just throw casual shade, he dissected the fall from grace like someone narrating a documentary on betrayal and ego. His tone was confident, his delivery sharp, and every sentence seemed designed to expose the contrast between Shannon's public image and the private decisions catching up to him. He called it exactly what it looked like, a setup born from arrogance. To Charleston, this wasn't just a scandal, it was a lesson in how fame can blur judgment. A man who once represented control now stood accused of losing it all for a moment that should have never happened. With the internet watching and opinions flying faster than facts, Charleston's clip set the tone for one of the most polarizing conversations in celebrity culture this year, and that was just the beginning.
How you at the gym and you let this 20-year-old, damn near teeny bop, little old young white bitch get you 50 mil? You offered a pink toe Peckerwood 10 million.
From the moment Shannon released that statement, the internet knew the situation was spiraling. His calm, measured tone couldn't hide the tension underneath. Words like transparent and defend myself only fueled speculation that this wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was a full-blown crisis. And right on cue, Charleston White entered the conversation with the precision of someone who's been waiting for this moment. He reminded everyone that the tension between him and Shannon wasn't new. It's been building quietly, layered with interviews, call-outs, and subtle jabs that now seem prophetic. Charleston didn't hold back when talking about how he viewed Shannon and other athletes. He said what many were thinking but too afraid to say, that fame doesn't always equal wisdom, and being loved by Hollywood doesn't mean you're respected by your people. This wasn't just commentary, it was Charleston delivering a reality check to a culture obsessed with image. His critique cut deep because it exposed something uncomfortable, the way success often separates people from their roots. And in his eyes, Shannon Sharpe had become the latest example. The moment Charleston's words hit the internet, the tone of the story shifted. What started as a legal dispute turned into a public reckoning about authenticity, loyalty, and how fast the spotlight can turn on you. And from there, Charleston only got bolder.
Insulted everybody. But you gotta understand, homie, I done said some horrible things about Dion and the boys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is an alumni.
Yeah, that's why.
I said some horrible things about Dion is the modern day Bill Cosby and them boys is Theo Huxtable and yeah, man.
Yeah, well,
he's the modern day of that.
Cause it'll be messing up his.
This is the Fresh Prince and Bel-Air family.
Charleston's delivery was surgical, every insult laced with a deeper message. Beneath the humor and harshness, he was making a statement about discipline, reputation, and the illusion of control. To him, this wasn't just another scandal. It was proof that no amount of success can protect you from bad decisions. He painted Shannon Sharpe as the symbol of a deeper problem, men who rise to power but still crave validation in the wrong places. It was uncomfortable to hear, but Charleston's words resonated with audiences who've watched too many public figures fall to the same pattern. Through sarcasm and raw truth, he positioned himself as the one unfiltered voice in a world full of polished lies. Every time he called Shannon a big dumb football player, it wasn't just an insult, it was a metaphor for how easily intelligence gets overshadowed by pride. The contrast was undeniable. Shannon, the polished TV host, facing backlash for a story that contradicted his entire brand. Charleston, the self-proclaimed street philosopher, using the chaos to highlight the cracks in celebrity culture. The internet didn't know who to believe, but one thing was clear: Charleston White had taken control of the narrative. And the next clip made that even clearer.
This family. Dion is the ideal father in the black community. This is, yeah. So, and here I am attacking him in his toe, in his boy. Yeah. So yeah, now them all sick of my I attack him, his toe in his boy. And jumped on P. Lloyd.
Charleston's delivery was surgical, every insult laced with a deeper message. Beneath the humor and harshness, he was making a statement about discipline, reputation, and the illusion of control. To him, this wasn't just another scandal. It was proof that no amount of success can protect you from bad decisions. He painted Shannon Sharpe as the symbol of a deeper problem: men who rise to power but still crave validation in the wrong places. It was uncomfortable to hear, but Charleston's words resonated with audiences who've watched too many public figures fall to the same pattern. Through sarcasm and raw truth, he positioned himself as the one unfiltered voice in a world full of polished lies. Every time he called Shannon a big dumb football player, it wasn't just an insult. It was a metaphor for how easily intelligence gets overshadowed by pride. The contrast was undeniable. Shannon, the polished TV host, facing backlash for a story that contradicted his entire brand. Charleston, the self-proclaimed street philosopher, using the chaos to highlight the cracks in celebrity culture. The internet didn't know who to believe, but one thing was clear: Charleston White had taken control of the narrative. And the next clip made that even clearer.
Y'all know I got to get on Shannon Sharpe's ass now. Now, for one, he too mean to the bitches. I already knew he boy too mean to the bitches. I keep telling y'all, I'm the favorite uncle. I'm the uncle that they ain't got no dirt on me. They trying to throw dirt on me. They've been trying to do everything. Now, he been kind of been hating on me a little bit. Now look at it. Hey, listen, boy, no, maybe he don't know. Maybe this uncle is a little lame. I'm the uncle with the game. That's why I stay at the strip club with real. When you dealing with hoes and you ain't got these problems. You dealing with these little just trying to hit a lick. You dealing with a young 20-year-old conniving, manipulative, low-down, white. I'm talking about a dirty, funky hunky.
And just like that, Charleston dropped the bomb. The kind of claim that turns a regular gossip story into a digital wildfire. You could almost feel the internet pause, rewind, and replay just to make sure they heard him right. Within hours, timelines were flooded with Shannon Sharpe double life threads, side-by-side photos, and wild fan theories. One Reddit user wrote, "Greater than, if this man got 2 phones like Future, I'm not even shocked anymore." Another replied, "Greater than Charleston always got receipts. I'm just waiting for the screenshots." Less than, this is what Charleston White does best. He doesn't just start a conversation, he detonates it. He knows exactly how to blur the line between truth and entertainment, making everyone scramble to decide which side of the story they believe. His statement hit harder because it targeted not Shannon's fame, but his authenticity. For years, Shannon's image had been built around discipline, structure, and accountability. So, when Charleston hinted at secrets and contradictions, it wasn't just drama, it was brand sabotage. And the wildest part? The internet didn't even wait for proof. In 2025, the court of public opinion doesn't need evidence, just a viral moment and a comment section ready to burn. But trust me, the next part, that's where things really start spiraling. Because Charleston wasn't done talking, not even close.
50 million? You ain't come up with that. 200 million? Guy, I don't even know a lawyer that even thinks 50 million. They would have been trying to it down for a meal or two. And still been. Yeah, man, you saw what Ike Turner did.
At this point, Charleston wasn't just roasting Shannon, he was flipping the entire mentor narrative upside down. This wasn't random hate, this was a strategic takedown of hypocrisy. The man who sat on national TV telling young athletes to move with purpose was now being accused of doing the exact opposite behind closed doors, and Charleston knew exactly what he was doing. He framed it like a morality play, the teacher caught breaking his own rules. That's why the clip hit different. It wasn't just gossip, it was a cultural gut punch. Twitter threads started popping up comparing Shannon to other celebrities who preached purity but practiced chaos. Memes of him saying Club Shay Shay is about elevation got paired with captions like, "Bro elevated straight into a scandal." The irony was poetic. The same audience that once saw Shannon as a voice of reason now saw him as the latest example of why nobody's brand is bulletproof. And Charleston's tone? Cold, deliberate, unbothered. He was positioning himself as the only one bold enough to say what others whispered. It wasn't about Shannon anymore. It was about accountability in the influencer era. If you preach it, you better live it. Because in 2025, the internet will find the contradiction and turn it into content. But this next clip, this is where Charleston takes things from calling out to calling shots.
Friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty.
Charleston just went for the jugular. At this point, the man wasn't critiquing, he was diagnosing. And the word that stood out most? Insecure. Because that's the one label that sticks longer than any scandal. Charleston painted a picture that fans couldn't unsee. A man with fame, fortune, and muscles, but no peace. It was the kind of read that cuts deeper because it sounds too real. Within minutes, the internet turned Shannon's highlight reels into a meme fest. TikToks of him flexing on set got stitched with voiceovers saying, "Bro fighting relevance like it's leg day." The quote, "He can't stay irrelevant for 5 minutes," became the new punchline on X. But here's the crazy part. Charleston wasn't just talking about Shannon. He was holding up a mirror to every celebrity addicted to attention. The same platforms that built them are now the ones breaking them down, one post at a time. You could feel the collective eye roll of the internet, fans tired of seeing grown millionaires chasing validation like teenagers. Charleston knew that sentiment would hit home. He wasn't exposing just Shannon, he was exposing the entire culture of fame hunger. And the more uncomfortable it got, the more viral it became, because controversy might ruin reputations, but it builds algorithms. Still, the next clip? Oh, it's where Charleston stopped talking about clout and started proving he had the receipts.
I stay at the strip club with real. When you dealing with hoes and you ain't got these problems. You dealing with these little just trying to hit a lick.
This was the digital equivalent of dropping a grenade in a crowded room. Charleston didn't just hint anymore. He gave the internet a target. One cryptic line about "that girl from the gym," and suddenly, every online detective went to work like it was the season finale of a true crime show. By the time the clip hit Twitter, the comments were pure chaos. Greater than, "the gym girl? Bro, we got a suspect already. Someone check her location tags. I'm not sleeping till we solve this." And the wild part? Within hours, users had already pulled old screenshots, matching furniture, and even the same mirror reflection from Shannon's Instagram posts. Whether the proof was real or stretched didn't even matter anymore. Perception became reality. Charleston understood one of the darkest truths of the internet. You don't need evidence to ruin someone, you just need engagement. He didn't drop names, but he didn't have to. He weaponized vagueness. He gave fans just enough to build their own narrative, and once the story started rolling, it didn't stop. What made it sting worse for Shannon was timing. He had just been rebuilding his image, the clean-cut ex-athlete turned businessman. But now, that image was hanging by a thread. And Charleston? He stood there grinning, watching the house he didn't build start to burn. But the next clip, That's when he flipped the entire situation on its head and turned the spotlight back on Hollywood's hypocrisy itself.
With them, because Jesus kept them. Every man got to walk with Jesus and his 12 disciples. Didn't get to hang out with the Savior. Only a hoe did. So I know how important a hoe is. Better learn and start appreciating and leave them pretty alone. I'm telling you, he in the gym working out, looking like a big old black.
Now, Charleston wasn't just calling out one man, he was calling out the machine. This was no longer a Shannon Sharpe story. This was a Hollywood expose wrapped in chaos and conviction. In that single clip, he transformed from a troll into a whistleblower. The tone shifted, less gossip, more gospel. He framed himself as the truth teller in a room full of actors pretending to be saints. And the internet? They ate it up. He's not lying, though. Everyone in Hollywood dirty. He's saying what people in power never will. It's funny until he starts naming producers. The comments rolled in like a flood. Charleston knew how to feed that energy, mixing truth with tension, exposing the illusion of celebrity morality. He wasn't just exposing individuals, he was shredding the entire illusion that Hollywood has sold for decades, that fame equals virtue, that wealth equals wisdom. He said what everyone online already suspected but never had proof to confirm, that the industry thrives on image manipulation. Everyone smiles for the cameras while sweeping chaos under the rug. And this is where things got even deeper. Because Shannon wasn't just another celebrity in Charleston's rant, he was the poster child for the Hollywood double standard. So when Charleston turned the conversation from gossip to morality, he wasn't just dragging, he was educating through destruction. But the next clip? Oh, that's when he stopped generalizing and aimed directly at Hollywood's fake loyalty system. And it hit harder than anyone expected.
Pants on. Little white girl say you got a baby in your drawer. Girl say your dick is the size of a baby. She called it, come put that big baby, black baby in me. She called it a baby black baby. Whatever she would call it, she called it a baby. Boy got an infant in his drawer. Do you know what you could do, in the ghetto with an infant size, with money, and you got fame?
Charleston didn't stutter. And the sad part? He wasn't wrong. Hollywood loyalty is like a group chat that silently deletes your number once you fall off. Everyone wants to be your friend when you're trending, but the second your name becomes bad press, they act like you never existed. This wasn't just about Shannon anymore. It was a mirror to the entire influencer ecosystem, where friendship lasts only as long as engagement does. The same hosts who once called Shannon brother were suddenly silent. No posts, no defense, no texts, just ghosting. And that's what hit fans the hardest, because everyone's seen it happen. One scandal, one clip, and suddenly the same industry that praised you for years pretends you were never part of the club. TikTok edits started circulating with captions like, "Greater than Hollywood loyalty expires faster than milk." When your friends start acting brand safe, even casual viewers could feel the sting of truth. Charleston wasn't speaking from spite. He was pulling back the curtain on a system built on conditional love. The way he framed it? Shannon wasn't just another celebrity caught slipping. He was the latest reminder that Hollywood only stands by you when it's profitable. And that message cut deeper than any insult. Because in a world where fame is currency, loyalty isn't love, it's leverage. But in the next clip, Charleston takes this bitter truth and turns it into a full-blown lesson in betrayal, naming the exact people he claims switched up the moment Shannon's name hit the blogs.
Put them girl down at a whole strip club where I be hanging and fishing it. They can't even think 50 million. They even get mad and say, I want them for 50 million. You could have bought this for 50,000 in the ghetto. What happened when you leave? What happened when you go across the railroad track and be over 50 million? How you even come up with that? Who you been? I don't even know a lawyer that even think 50 million. They would have been trying to shake a nigga down for $1 million or $2 million. And still, yeah, man, you saw what Ike Turner did.
And right there, Charleston exposed the part of the game most people never talk about: silence as survival. When the spotlight shifts and the smoke rises, nobody wants to stand too close. The same people who used to laugh at Shannon's jokes, call him OG, and sit beside him on camera suddenly vanished like they never knew his name. Not because they didn't care, but because they were protecting their brands. In Hollywood, the rule is simple. If a scandal don't pay you, you stay quiet. It's an industry built on distance. The moment one man's reputation catches fire, the others step back and watch him burn, just to make sure the flames don't touch their own careers. Charleston's words echoed like a warning shot. These folks ain't loyal, they strategic. And you could feel the weight behind it. Because deep down, everyone in entertainment knows loyalty is a luxury and silence is insurance. He compared the situation to chess, not checkers. Shannon might have thought he was surrounded by teammates, but what he really had was a board full of opportunists waiting to make their next safe move. By this point, Charleston's tone shifted from mockery to message. He wasn't just clowning Shannon anymore. He was preaching to every man watching, greater than, when they can't use you, they'll lose you. He said it like a street proverb, and it hit hard. Because no matter how polished you look, or how many seats you sit beside, the moment your value drops, those same people will let your name sink without a word. And that's where Charleston really struck gold. He turned a messy scandal into a blueprint for understanding Hollywood's quiet betrayals. But in the next part, he turns that message even darker, breaking down how these same silent friends might have had something to gain from Shannon's downfall in the first place.
Diddy gone, and y'all don't know how to get pussy on y'all no more. Look at you, boy. In the workout gym, looking like Conto, big black slave. That's what she look like, Shannon. Big old black slave. Zia with that lily white girl. They go get you one. You, man, you done fuck. I don't know what you done. Listen, they got skipped too. Don't feel bad. They got skipped too. They got skipped with a job.
Charleston wasn't just ranting anymore. He was revealing the blueprint of betrayal. He made it plain. When the industry goes silent, it's not because they're scared, it's because they're calculating. He said every no comment, every sending prayers post, every staying out of it statement is just camouflage. Behind closed doors, they're watching your fall like it's a countdown to opportunity. In Charleston's words, Shannon's silence didn't just cost him respect, it opened the door for replacements. People he helped, people who used to call him mentor, now circling like vultures waiting for their turn under the same spotlight. He compared it to snakes shedding their skin. Same faces, new intentions. One minute they're quoting you, the next they're auditioning for your seat. And he wasn't wrong. Every big scandal in Hollywood plays out the same way. One falls, another rises. Networks rebrand, podcasts reassign, brands repackage. The show must go on, with or without you. Charleston even joked, they already got your name on the replacement list before the ink dry on your apology post. And the sad part? That line hit too close to home. Because it's not just Shannon. It's every man who thought loyalty was real in a fake business. Every brother who believed relationships could outlast ratings. But in Charleston's version of Hollywood, everyone's replaceable. And the fall of one man is just another episode for the next. And just when you think Charleston's done tearing down the illusion, he takes it even further, accusing certain insiders of helping push Shannon's name into the fire to clear space for themselves. The next clip gets even colder, because Charleston stops talking about betrayal in theory and starts naming the kind of people he says orchestrated.
You kinda hating on me. You let Gilly get over there and talk down on me. Now I don't want to come to your podcast no more. You done something to a white girl. And I'm with them white folks. Hang at me. I'm with them white folks. Hang at me. And I believe it. I don't think she...
Charleston said it with that signature smirk, the kind that makes you laugh before realizing he's dead serious. Because the truth is, he wasn't exaggerating. In this era, being exposed is a marketing strategy. And when your name trends, it ain't just random, it's engineered. Charleston laid it out like a map. Someone inside leaks a DM, a rumor gets dressed up as anonymous source, and suddenly every blog post, every podcast, every fake moral outrage account is saying the same line like it's choir practice. He said Shannon wasn't just caught slipping, he got caught in the system, a system that feeds off your image, milks your pain, and sells your downfall as content. And here's the kicker, the same people pushing your downfall be sitting front row at your next event acting shocked. Charleston laughed and said, "Ain't nothing faker than Hollywood sympathy. They'll film your apology and sell it to TMZ before they offer you a hug." He compared it to a trap wrapped in applause. They clap when you rise, but they clap even harder when you fall, because either way, they're entertained. Charleston told his audience straight up, "You can't play humble in a place that profits off humiliation. It's like trying to swim in quicksand. The harder you fight, the faster you sink." And Shannon, in Charleston's eyes, was drowning in the same validation pool he once flexed in. Then, Charleston twisted the knife even deeper, claiming that every so-called exclusive leak in this case was part of a bigger agenda, to bury Shannon while the next face takes his spot in the spotlight. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was Hollywood 101. Loyalty expires the moment the next headline drops. And Charleston wasn't done yet, because what he said next turned his rant into a full-blown cultural indictment. He stopped talking about Shannon as one man and started talking about what happens to every black man who tries to make it in a system built to break them.
I don't think these white people sent this white girl to get you. I think you like raw meat. You like raw, you like your steak medium rare. I like mine well done, black like to cook. I'm talking about no pink. I like mine. Now I used to like white girl. Yeah, cause my daddy like white girl.
That last clip felt less like a rant and more like prophecy. Charleston wasn't just talking about Shannon anymore. He was talking about the whole game, fame, clout, and how fast loyalty disappears when controversy knocks. He said it best. They love your glow, but not your growth. Because once the light hits too bright, they start dimming the bulb. Charleston broke it down like a preacher with Wi-Fi. Greater than, they don't cancel you because you wrong. They cancel you because your story got views. That line hit the internet like a lightning bolt, reposted, remixed, and stitched across TikTok and X with captions like, "He's not lying, those skull and crossbones." People started quoting him not out of agreement, but out of realization. Because when you look at Shannon's downfall, it's not just one man fumbling. It's a reflection of what happens when fame starts feeding on itself. Charleston said, "Every celebrity think they the exception till the comments flip." And he's right. Every beloved figure eventually becomes a meme, a headline, or a hashtag. He wrapped his rant like a street sermon with smoke. Hollywood don't build kings, it builds content. And once you stop performing, they'll turn your crown into clickbait. He told viewers, if you ever forget who you are chasing people's approval, don't be shocked when they sell your downfall to TMZ. Because fame don't forgive, it just recycles. And maybe that's the real message Charleston wanted to send. Shannon's scandal might fade, the tweets might get deleted, but the pattern, it repeats every single time. So the question Charleston leaves hanging in the air isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about survival. Can anyone stay authentic in a world that profits from your flaws? And that's where we'll leave it, on that uncomfortable truth. Because whether you agree with Charleston or not, one thing's certain. This won't be the last celebrity to learn that, in Hollywood, your downfall gets better engagement than your success. It all started with what seemed like another harmless internet rant, just Charleston White doing what Charleston White does best, talking wild and unfiltered. But what looked like another moment of chaos online turned into a full-blown Hollywood scandal when his words about Shannon Sharpe hit the internet like gasoline on a fire. The energy shifted instantly. This wasn't just a hot take. It was a detonation. Charleston didn't just throw shade. He threw a mirror up in front of the entire celebrity ecosystem. Every word he said hit a nerve, because it wasn't just about Shannon at the gym. It was about the illusion of power, the cost of fame, and how fast the industry turns its back when a camera catches something it shouldn't. Social media lit up like a war zone. Fans, haters, bloggers, everyone had something to say. The internet loves a downfall, especially when it involves someone who's been untouchable for years. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. Memes flooded X, TikTok edits looped Charleston's rant with captions like, "Ain't no way," and "Shannon really fumbled the bag over that." The chaos became the content. What used to be an isolated scandal became a shared obsession. Everyone wanted to be the first to expose a new angle, a new clip, a new receipt. But the deeper the internet dug, the more unsettling things started to look. There was a pattern, one that revealed how fragile celebrity reputations have become. Charleston wasn't just calling out Shannon. He was calling out the entire ecosystem that rewards drama, punishes honesty, and thrives on contradictions. It was like watching the blueprint of cancel culture get rewritten in real time. The irony? People who once praised Shannon for his discipline, focus, and drive were now using those same traits against him. Suddenly, the gym videos that once inspired millions became the punchline of internet jokes. The very audience that had built him up was now dissecting his downfall frame by frame. It was brutal, and it was fast. And that's when Charleston dropped the line that nobody could ignore. Hollywood loyalty fake as hell. Those 6 words became the thesis of the entire scandal. Because in a world built on image, loyalty doesn't last longer than a trending topic. The moment the spotlight fades, so does everyone pretending to be your friend. And you could feel it. The way influencers who used to shout Shannon's name on podcasts suddenly went silent. The way Hollywood pretended not to notice. It wasn't just betrayal, it was strategy. What made it sting even more was how Charleston delivered it. Not with hate, but with this sharp, unsettling honesty that made everyone uncomfortable. Because he wasn't lying. He was saying what everyone in the industry already knows, but never dares to admit publicly, that fame is a contract written in disappearing ink. The silence around Shannon became louder than the scandal itself. Every day that passed without a response, fans grew more suspicious. TikTok threads started piecing together timelines, comparing old interviews, body language, deleted posts. The internet had turned detective, and the deeper people looked, the more they started realizing this wasn't just about a man caught in controversy. It was about the machine that created him. What made this whole situation explode wasn't the scandal, it was the hypocrisy. How people who had done far worse in private suddenly became moral judges online. How major outlets that once benefited from Shannon's popularity were now rewriting headlines to distance themselves. It was a perfect display of how quickly Hollywood devours its own when profit is on the line. And Charleston knew exactly how to twist the knife. Every clip of him talking seemed calculated, like he was holding a mirror to the entire system and forcing people to watch themselves squirm. Fans were divided, half calling him out for being messy, the other half calling him a truth teller the industry needed. Either way, everyone was talking. And that's how you win the internet. But what really broke the timeline was what came next. Charleston started naming names, people who, according to him, switched sides the moment Shannon's name got messy. People who had been in his circle for years, now pretending not to know him. He described Hollywood like a room full of people smiling while hiding knives behind their backs. The kind of betrayal that doesn't happen overnight, but slowly, quietly, behind fake hugs and red carpet smiles. It hit differently because you could see the pattern everywhere. It's not just Shannon. It's every celebrity who falls out of favor. The same cycle plays out again and again. Adoration turns into silence, silence turns into distance, and distance turns into erasure. Hollywood doesn't cancel you, it forgets you. And Charleston was exposing that cycle in real time. Fans started comparing clips from old interviews, moments where Shannon stood up for others during their scandals. The irony was painful. People noticed how he defended others when they were being dragged, only to now be abandoned by the same crowd. It was the classic Hollywood story: loyalty when it's convenient, distance when it's not. And that's why Charleston's message cut so deep. It wasn't the words, it was the truth behind them. He was saying what everyone had quietly witnessed but never said out loud. He was naming the rot inside the glitter, the fake love, the silent betrayals, the way image always trumps integrity. By now, the internet had fully turned this into an ongoing saga. Reaction channels, podcasts, Twitter spaces, everyone wanted to dissect what this meant for the culture. Some called it karma, others called it unfair. But one thing everyone agreed on was this: the Shannon story had become bigger than Shannon. It was now a symbol of how fast success can turn sour when you forget how disposable fame really is. Charleston kept feeding the fire. Every live stream, every clip, every quote felt like a chapter in a messy Hollywood book that refused to end. Fans who once dismissed him as a loudmouth now started calling him the only one telling the truth. The shift in public sentiment was wild. He'd gone from controversial to prophetic overnight. But beneath all the chaos, one message stood tall. Fame doesn't buy loyalty, it only rents it. The moment the money slows down or the cameras turn off, everyone who claimed to love you suddenly has selective amnesia. And watching Shannon go through it in real time made that truth undeniable. As the weeks passed, the scandal evolved. New clips surfaced, more context leaked. Every update brought fresh outrage, and yet it all circled back to that same idea. Perception is power. Once you lose control of your narrative, the internet decides who you are, and they don't give you a vote. By the end of it, what started as a viral moment had turned into a full-blown cultural case study on fame, loyalty, and hypocrisy. Charleston had forced the conversation, and whether people agreed with him or not, they couldn't ignore him, because he didn't just call out Shannon. He called out the entire machine that built him, broke him, and then pretended not to know him. And maybe that's why this story hit so hard, because deep down, everyone saw a little bit of themselves in it. The feeling of being used, abandoned, or misunderstood once you stop being useful. It's the most human story, just playing out under the blinding lights of fame. So now, the question isn't just about Shannon. It's about the system that made him, the culture that thrives on downfall, the audience that cheers for redemption only after they've had their fun with destruction. And the man, Charleston, who somehow turned a chaotic rant into one of the most brutally honest breakdowns of celebrity culture we've ever seen. But what happens next? That's the real cliffhanger. Will Shannon respond? Will the industry own up to its hypocrisy? Or will this just fade into another forgotten controversy, replaced by the next trending scandal? Because in this new digital era, fame isn't measured in money or success. It's measured in how long people keep talking about you, even when you're not around to defend yourself. So what do you think? Is Charleston telling the truth? Or is this just another viral moment disguised as wisdom? Was he exposing Hollywood or exploiting it? Whatever your answer is, one thing's for sure. This story isn't over, and don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on your screen for even more juicy celebrity chaos, betrayals, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. See you in the next one.